Have you ever wondered who are the true indigenous Nagas and why are the Nagas of Manipur, Arunachal Pradesh, Assam, and even Myanmar often questioned about their identity? Let's dive in. The Nagas of Manipur are not indigenous to the present state of Nagaland. True, this statement is correct. But to understand why it is true and what it truly means, we must first understand the word indigenous really stands for. There is no single universal definition of the term indigenous, but the United Nations Declaration on the Rights of Indigenous People gave us a powerful and widely accepted understanding. It says, indigenous people are those who have historical continuity with pre invasion and pre colonial societies that develop on their territories and who consider themselves distinct from other sectors of the societies now prevalent in those territories. In simple words, indigenous people are the original inhabitants of their land, those who have lived, evolved, and identified with that land long before foreign rule or colonial boundaries ever existed. So, when we say that the Nagas of Manipur are not indigenous to Nagaland, you must remember this. Nagaland is a modern state, an artificial boundary created by the Indian government in the year 1963. The Naga political struggle began long before, not after the creation of the state of Nagaland. The Nagas of Manipur, however, are indigenous to the ancestral land of the Nagas, the homeland where the Naga people have lived since time immemorial. The ancestral land of the Nagas is not a political creation. It is a cultural and historical landscape of the Naga people, a land spread across what we now call Nagaland, Manipur, Arunachal Pradesh, Assam, and parts of northwestern Myanmar. So, just as the Nagas of Manipur are indigenous to their ancestral lands, the Nagas of Arunachal, the Nagas of Assam, and the Nagas of Myanmar are all indigenous to their own Naga territories. None of them are outsiders to the Naga homeland. They are the sons and daughters of the same soil, the Nagas. The question then is, how did this division of the Naga homeland happen? And why are we now separated by lines, borders, and administrative walls? The answer lies in colonial history. When the British arrived in this part of the world in the 19th century, they conquered both India and Myanmar. For their own administrative convenience, they began drawing lines, internal boundaries, with no respect for the indigenous, tribal, or cultural realities of the land. In 1881, the British drew the first boundary line between India and Burma, now Myanmar. This single act separated Naga villages and clans that had lived together for centuries. Villages that once shared blood, culture, and identity suddenly found themselves in different countries, one under British India, another under British Burma. These artificial boundaries were not drawn based on who the Nagas were. They were drawn purely for the sake of colonial control. After India's independence, these artificial divisions did not disappear. They continued. In 1963, the state of Nagaland was officially formed. Later, Manipur achieved full statehood in 1972, and Arunachal Pradesh became a full-fledged state in the year 1987. These modern states were drawn for political and administrative convenience, not based on historical, ethnic, or indigenous realities. Before the British came, there was no Nagaland state, no Manipur state, no Arunachal state, only the land of the Nagas, living freely across their ancestral mountains and valleys, unbroken and undivided. The Nagas lived in complete independence, governed by their own customary laws, traditions, and village republics, free from any foreign rule. So, how did misunderstanding arise among the Nagas? Today, some people within the present state of Nagaland claim that the Nagas living outside Nagaland in Manipur or Arunachal Pradesh are not real Nagas, or they are trying to become Nagas or merged into Nagaland. This narrative is not only false but also deeply harmful to their own identity and to the Naga people as a whole. There are two main reasons why such claims exist. Reason 1: ignorance, lack of understanding of Naga history. Many people see the present political map and assume that it represents ancient reality. No, it does not. It's an artificial colonial creation. They do not realize that these boundaries were drawn by outsiders. They must be encouraged to study true Naga history, to learn how the land was divided and how the people were separated. Reason 2: hidden agendas. There are also who know the truth but still choose to deny it, perhaps for political gain, power, or other personal interest. Whatever the reason, such divisive views must be discussed openly. There have been times when some Nagas from Nagaland state raised allegations of extortion and random taxation, practices that burden every Naga, regardless of tribe or territory. Indeed, the common people suffered, the economy weakened, and public trust began to fade. Every Naga in every land condemned such actions, for they brought hardship to our own people. Today, the positive side is that such unregulated demands have reduced, though some isolated cases may still remain. Yet, this issue, as serious as it is, must never be allowed to overshadow the collective rights of the Nagas as a people. Our right to decide our own future as a free and distinct people must remain intact. We must not let internal faults or misunderstandings weaken our unique history and political identity. It is also true that in the past, tragic incidents occurred where even promising and respected Naga figures lost their lives at the hands of our own people. Those were dark and regretful moments, but the lesson from those times should guide us towards reconciliation, not division. For only unity can heal the scars of our history. Some also allege that when the state of Nagaland was formed, certain Naga leaders, particularly from Manipur, choose not to be part of it. If that is true, it may have been driven by personal or political interest of a few individuals, not by the will of the Naga people as a whole. We must never let the choices of few define the destiny of all. Therefore, the Nagas of Nagaland should not use those past decisions to question or deny the belonging of their own brothers and sisters in Manipur or elsewhere. Our shared identity cannot be divided by borders or by the ambitions of a few. Let's clear some major misconceptions. The Naga tribes who are outside Nagaland state fighting for the Naga rights are not trying to become Nagas. They are not demanding to settle inside Nagaland, and they are not claiming to be indigenous to Nagaland state. The truth is simple and powerful. Nagas outside the state of Nagaland are themselves the original indigenous Nagas. By history, by bloodline, and by identity. They have lived on their ancestral lands since time immemorial. What are the Nagas fighting for? The struggle of the Naga people is not about merging or separating. It's about restoring the rights as an indigenous nation, a people with their own language, culture, and traditional governance, a people who once lived free long before colonialism. The Nagas are not fighting to become something new. They're fighting to reclaim what they have always been. The Naga movement at its heart is about sovereignty, dignity, and the recognition of a distinct identity that predates the modern states of India and Myanmar. Nagas have every right as indigenous people to decide their own future. to preserve their culture, protect their land, and govern themselves according to the customs and traditions. The path ahead lies not in denial or hostility, but in understanding and unity. The time has come for every Naga, whether from Manipur, Nagaland, Arunachal Pradesh, Assam, or Myanmar, to stand together, not as citizens of divided states, but as one people, the indigenous Nagas of Nagaland. We must remember boundaries can divide land, but they cannot divide the spirit of the Naga people. The Naga identity flows deeper than any border. It lives in our stories, our songs, our ancestral stones, our maroons, and our shared dream of freedom. So when someone says the Nagas of Manipur are not indigenous to Nagaland, say yes, that's true, because the Nagas of Manipur and every other Naga region are not indigenous to the artificial state of Nagaland state, but they are indigenous people of the land where they live, the timeless homeland of the Naga people. The Naga story is not about separation, it is about belonging, not about political boundaries, but about ancestral connections, not about division, but about the unbroken spirit of people who have always known who they are. Let us remember, beyond politics, beyond differences, we are one people, bound by the same history, the same struggle, and the same dream for a peaceful and dignified future. The Nagas are the indigenous people of their ancestral land. Nagas were free before, and Nagas shall remain free forever.